Hello and welcome to the History Help channel. Today we will be covering the Neolithic age. That is the chapter third, 3 in class 6. Okay. So last two videos we have looked into chapter 1 and chapter 2. Today we'll be looking into the chapter 3, that is the Neolithic age. So what and all we will learn is, we will look into what is a Neolithic man, we will look into agriculture, and we will look into what and all he made, like wheel and pottery. We will look into Neolithic man's lifestyle. We will look into religious beliefs. We will also look into places where he was settled, his locations. We will also look into what was happening in the world. Okay, not just in India. We will also look into what was happening all over the world during the Neolithic Stone Age. Okay. So let us take a look into Neolithic man. So up till now, last two chapters, you read about Paleolithic man. Paleolithic man lived from 2 million years to 12,000 years, right? Then we looked into Mesolithic man, that was the middle stone age. He lived from 12,000 to 10,000 years. Okay. Now we will look into Neolithic man. Neolithic man lived from 10,000 to 4,000 BC. Okay. This time period we will look into and see what was happening to man. Okay. So Neolithic man is also known as New Stone Age. So in New Stone Age, he was able to build houses, he was able to grow crops, he was able to do invent the wheel, he was able to make pots, that is pottery, and he was also able to make good tools. Unlike Paleolithic age or Mesolithic age, he was able to make a wide variety of tools. So we will look in this entire video, we will look into how Neolithic man became more and more civilized, and more how he became to stay in one place. Okay. So let us take a look into this slide just to give you a summary. So now we will look into the first part, that is the agriculture. So, so you know that in Paleolithic age, it was all ice. The entire world was covered in ice, and man used to roam from one place to another, and that's why he was known as a nomad. In Mesolithic age, the earth grew a bit warmer, so there were grass growing everywhere. So he was able to, little bit he was able to domesticate animals, like because there was grass, cow, sheep, goat and all were able to eat the grass. So he understood a little bit about domesticating animals. Now we are coming to Neolithic age, where there were a lot of, the weather was good, there was lot of grasslands. So he was able to see that seeds would grow into plants. So slowly he probably would have observed that plants grow from seeds and he can actually eat them, like rice, wheat, barley and all. So he started to grow crops. We do not know when this happened, where, what time or exact date and all we don't know. But this is the guess that Neolithic man gradually observed and understood how to grow crops. So what crops he grew? He grew rice, wheat, barley, maize and all that. So now he knew to eat vegetables, he knew to eat fruits, he also grew grape crops. So he was from food gatherer, he became a food producer. That is, he started understanding to do farming. So he learned to farm. So now he had plenty of food. He was known, there was no need for him to go daily hunting or daily fishing and all. He knew how to grow crops. So after that, what else? He also understood that he can domesticate animals. So he was able to sheep, goat, cows, all of them he was able to domesticate. One of the first animals he tamed was the dog. Okay, he took it out for hunting and all. So dog was the first animal he domesticated. Then sheep, goat, and all of that. Okay, so now he also knew to get milk. He was able to use honey. All of them he started becoming more and more, prosperous, more and more severe. So he was getting into more and more settled life. He was still roaming here and there. Until grass was there, he would stay in one place. All his animals would get grass. When grass finishes, he would go to different places. But now that he knew to grow crops, he slowly also started settling down, making houses and settling down in one place. Okay. After agriculture, the next thing he discovered was wheels and pots. So, wheel, what is a wheel? Nowadays, you see your bikes and cars and all of them having wheels, tires. But back then, he didn't know what was a wheel. He simply used to carry things from one place to another. But probably, he may have seen a stone rolling down from a hill, or a piece of wood going from the river, or he would have got an idea that he can create or invent a wheel or something that rolls so that he can carry things from one place to another. It is easier to carry your bag or a wheel of wood if there is a wheel, right? So that is what he also did. So that's how he discovered wheel. So once he discovered wheel, he was able to travel easily. He was able to transport things, and life became much easier for him. So when he started traveling, he met different people. He also was able to exchange ideas. Oh, in my house, in my place they grow this. In your place they grow this. Probably he may have discussed things like that. So wheel is an important invention of Neolithic age. Okay. Then came pots. Okay. Why? What is the importance of pots? Now let's say you grow rice, wheat, barley. Once you grow, you have plenty. Okay, you have to store them. So that's why he felt the need of some kind of storing vessel. So he may have understood that clay can be used to make pots. So initially he used clay to make pots, and he used to bake them in the sunlight and all. Later he would have invented the pottery wheel. You've seen the wheel that makes pots, right? So if you are a good efficient potter, you can make a pot in 2 minutes with a wheel. So just imagine, in a day you can make some 20, 30 pots. So that just by using the potter wheel, you can make pots. So first he did manually through hands. Then he also used the potter's wheel. So what kind of pottery he did, what and all he did? He made plates, he made cups, he made big vessels, small vessels, all that pots he did. So that we come to know in wheels and pots. So let's now look into, so we learnt about Neolithic man when he lived 10,000 to 4000 BC. We knew in agriculture, we knew he grew rice, wheat, barley, maize, and he also domesticated animals. Then he invented the wheel, that he was able to transport things. He also invented pottery, and so he was able to store the grains. Excess grains he was able to store. Now let us look into his lifestyle. So what is his lifestyle? What kind of lifestyle he would have left? Now he knew how to domesticate animals, he knew how to grow crops. So what happened? He started building houses and settling down. So what type of houses he built? He built houses of mud, stone, and sometimes of bamboo, straw. All this he used in his houses, to build houses. Most of them are, none of them are remaining now. Here and there you will find houses, like you will find houses in pit houses in Mehergar in Balochistan. But they have found houses which are still there. But this is the uh, uh, material he used to make houses. So he started settling down in houses. Because now he had plenty of time, he started painting. So you will find painting inside the houses. Uh, and in pots also. Sometimes all the pots he made were plain, but he also started painting over them. And women used to make jewelry because they had plenty of time now. Probably there was division of work. Man probably used to go hunting and domesticate. I mean, taking the cattle out, cow, sheep, and goat out. And probably women might have done farming. Whatever time they had, there was no television, so they used to do jewelry of beads or make even man on women could make toys, terracotta figures. They used to make ornaments. So they would have done jewelry. Most importantly, they started to make cloth. Okay, earlier cloth used to be of animal skins. Okay, later they started growing cotton. They also did the spinning wheel, and they started making cloth out of cotton and wool. So they started making cotton of cloth from cotton and wool. So they started wearing it. So they knew how to dress. They knew how to make ornaments. In fact, in South India, we have discovered a comb um, which they had made. So they knew a little bit of makeup and all that. Then they lived in houses. So when they started settling down, every family used to live together. So each of the family used to live together, and slowly that became a something called a tribe. Tribe is a group of people of belonging to the particular family itself. So tribe or a community started happening. So there were multiple people living in one place, and they were known as tribes. So after that, ornaments and the tools they started making out of. Let me write here. Tools were made of stone, but it was made of something called a trap rock. Now this is black and it's very strong. So they were able to make more stronger tools, polish them. They also were able to make grooves. Have you seen the wheels have grooves and all that, right? So all this they were able to make in their tools. So the tools became sharper, finer, polished, and because of them they were able to bows, arrows, sickles, then spears, all of them they made. And because of that they were able to live all over the country. Neolithic man, because now they had stronger tools, they also knew how to grow, so they were well off. Paleolithic man, if you remember, he lived only near the river sources or somewhere high up and all, where there were water sources near, like that he used to look out for. But Neolithic man, his settlement was everywhere. So that was the lifestyle. Now let us take a look into the religious beliefs. What were the religious beliefs of Neolithic man? So in coming to religious beliefs, so now man was all Neolithic man was well settled. He was living in tribes. He had plenty of time. So what was his religion? What was his thoughts? Did he worship God? So that we will see in religious beliefs. So one of the first thing is there was no gods, like there was no Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, and Jesus. None of the gods were there. At that time, he only used to worship nature. Okay, why nature? Because early man in Neolithic age, he did not know what caused lightning, what caused storms, what caused thunderstorms, what caused heavy winds, what caused heavy rains. So he thought, let me worship them and they will protect me. So he started worshipping sun. He started worshipping water. He started worshipping fire. He started worshipping sky. So sun god, there was sun god, there was water, river god, there was fire god. All this he started worshipping. So there was no Brahma, Vishnu, none of them were there. After that, this was his religion. Secondly, he also started believing life after death. So earlier, when in Paleolithic age, that is in Old Stone Age, when a person used to die, they used to be left out in the open, because Paleolithic man used to roam from one place to another. Somebody used to be dead, they used to leave him and go move away. But in Neolithic age, man started thinking, does if a person dies in my group, Will he live after death? So if he is going to live after death, after dying also, if he is going to live, he might require items, food items and all that, or pots or weapons and all. So what he did, Neolithic man, whenever a person died, he would bury them in the ground, and he also used to keep pots, and in the pots he used to fill it with grains. He also used to keep ornaments like jewelry and all. He also used to keep tools like weapons and all. Then he used to close the place. He thought what the dead person might require all this, so he started burying the dead. After that, there was another type of burial. This was known as urn burial. Urn is a vessel or a pot. He also used to keep a body inside the pot, and then he used to bury them. So that is known as urn burial. So he used to do this. So this is how this was his thinking. There is life after death, and that there are gods, nature gods. This was so that covers the religious beliefs. Next, let us look into locations. So, Neolithic man had better tools. He had made wonderful tools with trap rock. He was stronger. He knew how to grow crops. He knew how to tame animals. So, obviously, he lived in a lot of places all over the country. He lived. So, unlike Paleolithic man who only used to live near water sources, Neolithic man settlement is spread all over the country. So, you can find Neolithic settlements in Assam, you can find it in Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Andhra, in Maharashtra. You can also find in Kashmir and all of them. You can also find outside India, like Baluchistan, Pakistan, all of those places, you can find Neolithic settlements. So now let me ask you a question. There were no written sources. So how do we know that Neolithic man knew pots? How do we know that Neolithic man used to grow crops? Hmm? How do we know that Neolithic man used to cook food? Or how do we know that Neolithic man made jewelry? So how do we know all this? For this, the answer is archaeologist. Who is an archaeologist? Archaeologist is a person who goes and digs up the tools of the past. So, digging up many of the items over the years would have been buried inside the ground. So, an archaeologist goes to that place, digs up, and he finds the items. So, let me give you an example. In Kashmir, not in Kashmir, they have actually found pit houses. What's a pit house? Pit house is a house below the ground, and you have steps leading to that house. The house can be square or rectangle, but it is beneath the ground. There are steps leading to it. That's why it's known as pit houses. So that's how we know that Neolithic man knew how to build homes, because archaeologists have actually dug up the places. Now I'll give you another example. In a place in Baluchistan known as Mehergarh, they have found houses like this, square and rectangular houses. Inside that, they have found pots. So that's how they came to know, oh, Neolithic man knew pottery. They have also found ornaments or tools, and sometimes they have also found grains like barley and all that. So if you actually take a grain, and you can tell what was the age of the grain. So that's how they know that the grain is so old. For example, Mehergarh, it is of 7000 BC. So they would have dated the tools, or they would have dated the artifacts that have been found in Mehergarh, and that's how they know that 7000 BC people knew about pottery. They knew how to build houses and all. Similarly, when they dug up other places, they would have found proof for domestication of animals and all that. Now let us take a look into the world. So in India we have found all over the world, but in world also we have found in a place today, if you take a globe and if you figure out where is Iraq, the modern Iraq, that was the place where Mesopotamia's settlement was there. So all over the world also there were societies. So Mesopotamia is a settlement where they have actually, when they dug up, they have found out houses, and they have found out proof for cattle, they have found out tools, pottery, and all that. So in India also we have found, other places also there is Neolithic settlement. Slowly from Neolithic Stone Age settlement, people started learning about metals. Metals is iron, gold, silver. So from after Stone Age, we move into metallic age. And from metals, we slowly, cities started coming up. This we will see in chapter 4. Okay, thank you.